Hello, good morning club members and honored guest. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome to you all on the 5th session of Doyen's club meeting. Okay, first let's discuss the agenda. It's a normal agenda. I think most of us are already here and already aware of, but still it's my job to let's go through for today's agenda. The first thing is we have 4 prepared speeches. The one is based on the icebreaker and the 3 other speeches are organize your speech. The second project from the communication manual, and following that we have extemporary session. Okay, now coming forward to our club rules. Today Pradeep Kumar, he is performing the role of extemporary host. Sandeep Dimani is performing the role of speech evaluator. Mahinder Gotwar is performing the role of silent evaluator. Ashish Negi is performing the role of grammatist. Vedpal as NEFO counter. Gopal Sharma as timekeeper. Deepak Jain as gesture. And Gopal Sharma is also performing the role of vote counter. Today we have a little bit change in our schedule, as like earlier we used to vote count here, but now we have tried to squeeze down the time to the within the 1 hour limit. So today the voting has been going on to be online, and a Google form will be raised to each and everyone. So I think Vedpal, please circulate the white sheet to each and every member. Please sign, mention your name and email ID so that we can send a Google form to you for all the nominated candidates. Okay, now coming to the first session of the today's session, it's speeches. The first speech has been provided by Ashish Tandale. Yeah. The first speech has been performed by Ashish Tandale. It's the topic of the speech is the traffic rule versus us, and the speech evaluator is Ashish Negi.
Hello everyone, good morning. I am Ashish Tandale and I am here at Doyen Club membership. Today is my second speech, organized speech. I will be taking approximate 5 minutes 45 seconds to complete my speech. Every day we follow certain rules in our life. Kids follow parents or teachers' rule. Many of us who will be staying in rented house have to follow owner's rule. At work, we have to follow HR policies. Married guys like me have to follow wife's mandatory rules, isn't it? At Doyen Club, Thai rule. On traffic or on road, traffic rules. Rule, everywhere there are lots of rules. Today I am here to discuss about few of the traffic rules and how we follow them. My topic name is Traffic Rules versus Us. Before I begin, let's understand what can go wrong if there are no rules defined. Well, what I believe is everyone will try to drive in their own style. A lot of traffic congestion will happen on road. People may start fighting each other, and there will be several accidents. Those accidents could be major, life-threatening. Now let's take few examples of different rules and how we follow them. One of the very general rule is to wear helmet while riding two-wheeler motorcycle. Many of us follow it. Few don't. Have a look at this picture on left. What is this guy trying to do? What appears to me is he might got his brain in his elbow or he's injured. And that is the reason he has changed the complete philosophy of using helmet by putting in his hand. Same as the other guy. What are they trying to do? I spoke to one of these guys to understand why are they doing this, and the reason and the response I received was because of their hairstyle. So nowadays hairstyle become more important than our life. I came across very good sign by traffic police on road which was having Ganesha picture and tagline of not everyone is lucky to have a replacement like him. Isn't that true? So guys, we are humans, don't be Ganesha. Under few examples, if you see, what are these guys trying to do? They appears to me genius. They can do multitasking, isn't it? However, research says we should avoid multitasking while driving, such as answering calls, doing text messages, which is the worst case, or eating or drinking while driving. And there are reasons for it. I'll be not talking about the reason. You can check them on internet. Another one rule is to fasten seatbelt while driving four-wheeler. Many of us follow it. Few don't. In place like Chandigarh, most of us are following. And the reason behind that could be because traffic rules are enforced here to be followed. But what if the same person goes to other part of the area where rules are not that strictly followed? Well, he might stop doing it. Isn't that? One another instance I can take is, I believe everyone have experienced this in our life. Whenever we hire a cab for a long tour, cab drivers fasten his seatbelt first time, and then somehow he managed to put on and put off seatbelt several times throughout the journey. He mainly remembers whole path. He actually predict that at what stage there will be police will be on road, and he just put steps before they appears. And why they do this? Just because they don't want to pay penalty. Again, we sacrifice our life. Few more general rules are: we have to drive in straight lane, maintain certain speed limit, do not harshly overtake or overdrive. Right? Every day I come across this situation in my life. When someone on backside of me, he keeps on honking and he wants to overtake everyone. Finally he succeeds by taking left right zigzag fashion, and then he disappears at very high speed without making accidents. Have you ever thought why he able to do? What I can think is, one, he is a very good driver. Second, because of others who let him pass by maintaining their speed, and they actually applies brakes such that he can pass. Or third, he might be lucky. So guys, here I would like to conclude that no matter who we are, what are those rules, who created them, we should follow them. And remember one thing guys, there's always someone waiting for you. Another one good tagline by traffic police is, there's always someone waiting, so better late than never. So you might have question now, why should I follow rules when others are not? And for that, my simple answer could be, at least someone has to start. And to create a change, be a change. So again, I would say, follow traffic rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. Thanks for sharing your ideas. It's a common that nowadays the number of deaths on the traffic due to the traffic accidents are increasing around the globe. So it's a common, and we are aware of it, but still we are not following the rule. And compiling the ideas and sharing your thoughts, it's a nice thing. Thanks for that. Okay, now let's moving forward. Our second orator for the today is Sandeep Nagmal. He is performing on his second project, that is organizing speech. The topic of the speech is Unknown Universe, and the speech evaluator is Sandeep Timan.
Thank you, Abhijit. Morning, everyone. This is my second project, the organized speech, and topic of my speech is the Unknown Universe, as already explained by Paramjit. So I would like to start with the words of renowned author Arthur C. Clarke. He said, there are two possibilities.
Actually, we said how much time do you need?
7 minutes. So Arthur C. Clarke said, there are two possibilities. Either we are alone in this universe or we are not. And both are equally terrifying. So friends, although we boast a lot about our achievements of 21st century, but still we don't know much about our own existence and the universe which is surrounding us. How this universe came into existence, what lies beyond our solar system, what lies beyond our galaxy, whether we came into this universe to serve universe, or universe is here to serve us? So far, nobody is able to answer these questions with a scientific proof. But yes, there are some theories. As one would expect from the thousands of years of thinking and questioning, there are thousands of variations in the certain theories proposed by different cultures at different periods of times. If we are going to summarize all these theories, we will left with three parent theories. So I am going to discuss briefly all these three theories. The first theory says God created the universe. If we are going to study all the religious books, and in fact all the religions, they base their philosophy on the belief that God was always there before the universe. And then God created the universe for the mankind. In fact, in some of the books, it is clearly mentioned that God took 6 days to build this whole universe to serve mankind. So as per this theory, mankind is the supreme form of life. This is again somehow little bit doubtful, because there are millions of planets, millions of galaxies. So we cannot say with certain conviction that yes, we are the supreme form of life. Although we face so many difficulties in life, we took birth, we perish, and we don't know much about this universe. So how can we be the best form of life? And second, God itself, existence of God itself is debatable. Although we believe, all of us believe, I think, that God is there, but still scientifically it is debatable. So this theory doesn't provide a workable model. Let's move on to next theory. It says universe created itself. This is also called Big Bang theory. So as per this theory, the universe was in a very condensed state at one point of time, and later on because of some reasons there was expansion, and this initial expansion allowed cooling of the substance which produced subatomic particles, later on atomic particle, and then giant cloud of this particle coalesced to form planets, stars and galaxies through gravity. In 1929, Edwin Hubble, a scientist, he observed that all the galaxies are receding away from their vantage point at a speed proportional to the distance. It means farther they are, faster they are. So it interpreted that if we will start moving backward to the time, they will start coming closer. And if we will move backward 13.8 billion years in time, there will be a single point. So that is what we consider as life of the universe, 13.8 billion years. So still there are some questions. Nice science, but if and buts are there. First question, if it was a point, then all of a sudden what happened that it started expanding? Was there some external interference, some reaction which ignite that point and make it expand? And second point, if it was a point, universe was a point, then what was surrounding that point? A big nothing? Sorry to say, but I can't imagine nothing. There must be something, right? Then, in fact, nowadays even scientists are believing that this theory is not true. They are working on some other models. Now, third theory, it says universe was always there. There is no beginning, there is no end. But as a human being, we see all the things in life, they have a starting point. Even ourselves, we take birth, we die. And everything which is there, it has a beginning, it has an end. So it's hard for us to believe that something is always there and something will always be there. So it might be true, but still, as a human being, it's difficult for us to imagine. Nowadays, a new theory has come up. As per that theory, people believe that universe does not exist. It is a program of a software. It might be a hologram. And even some religions also describe this thing, that this life is a dream and death is awakening from that dream. Right? So it might be true, but still we have to see. So there are a lot of questions, a lot of things that to discuss, but I would like to conclude with the words of a German aerospace engineer. He said, I cannot believe that we are exposed to this universe without a design behind it. they will be happy. So he said, I cannot imagine that we are exposed to law of the universe without a design behind it. There must be some designer sitting behind who want to accomplish something from this design. We will meet that designer maybe tomorrow, if not today. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandeep, for sharing your viewpoint regarding the origin of the universe. Still, it's a debatable, and I know also understand that in my childhood, my parents told me a lot of stories. It's kind of a melodramatic stories, but still okay. It's nice that you have compiled all the different ideas and share your ideas with us. Okay, now let's take a break and have a little bit of laugh. I will call our gesture Deepak Jain to crack one or two of his jokes today. Please, Deepak.
Good morning, everybody. What's the difference between a man and a camel? A camel can work for a whole week without drinking, but a man can drink for a whole week without working. Now, long time ago, people who used to sacrifice their life, family, fun, weekend, food and sleep were called saints. Now they are called employees. Thank you.
Thanks, Deepak. Okay, let's moving forward to our third orator, Neetu Singh. She is performing her first. It's her first project. It's for icebreaker, and the topic of the speech is father-daughter bond, and the speech evaluator is Sandeep Nagpal.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here for my first icebreaker speech, which is of 6-minute duration. The title of my speech is Father, a Daughter's First Love. In other words, I would like to say, the first true love any girl has is her father, and no one will ever replace him as the love of her life. Before moving forward, I would like to introduce myself. I am Neetu Singh. I have been working with ushering from past 2.5 years. I was earlier working as Senior Complaint Specialist in IHS. I grew up in Delhi and did my post-graduation in operations. I love reading books, listening to music, cooking and watching cricket. I am so fond of cooking that whenever I get time, I cook for my family and friends. I generally do experiment with new dishes like we did in chemistry lab. Sometimes it's a delight and at times it's a complete disaster. So today I'm here to share one of such experience with you, and here it goes. It was a time when I was in 8th standard and a new subject, home science, was introduced. We used to study stuff like home management, cooking, etc. in it. Gradually I gained interest in cooking. So whatever I learnt in school, I try it at home. In the meantime, my father was not feeling well, and as usual, I took it as a normal health issue and tried giving him self-medication at home. But after certain days, he was not showing any kind of improvement. We decided to pay a visit to a doctor, and he recommended some tests. But when the when the reports came, we were shocked to know that my father was diagnosed with diabetes. Doctor asked us to stay calm and explain how it can be controlled by following a strict diet plan. He provided us a lengthy document which contained the do's and don'ts list for a diabetic patient and asked us to make sure it was followed. In the beginning, my father was more cautious and he followed each and everything that was mentioned in the list. And it went for about 2.5 months and my father's sugar level was under control. But then again, eating the same food again and again, in which the bitter gourd, bitter gourd is a compulsive dish in each and every meal of his. My father got frustrated. He literally wanted to have something to satisfy his taste buds. But we all know how the bitter the so-called Karela is. I thought of a plan to try prepare Karela with a new twist. I tried making several methods to prepare to make it delicious and finally prepared it. Then was the time to serve him. With full excitement, I served the food along with the salad to my father. He was very impressed and praised it with every bite. He ate the complete plate of the Karela dish and patted me for the efforts I made. I was delighted. Few minutes later, I joined my mother for the food. The moment I took the first bite, I could not gulp it down. The food was so awful. I left the food there and rushed towards my father and asked him how could he eat it without any problem. He looked at me and smiled. Dear, I was so moved to see the efforts you made and concern you showed towards me. I can sense the love and care for me in your eyes. I was so touched and I hugged my dad. At that moment, I realized why daughters love their dad the most is that there is at least one man in the world who will never hurt her. There have been many incidents in my life where my father has supported me and I still cherish those moments. I have always felt comfortable in discussing each and every problem with him because he always understood me and provided best solutions. Whenever I had a problem, he used to take me for a walk and discuss my problem. After talking to him, I don't know what sort of magic he used to do, but I always felt relaxed and confident. My father has guided me in taking many of my life decisions, whether it's my studies, job, career, or my friends. My best buddy, my father, has always been there for me. In the end, I would like to say, of all the relations that I have, father-daughter relation is the most special for me. And the quote just itself justifies, every woman may not be a queen to her husband, but she will always a princess to her father. Thank you.
Thanks, Nitu, for sharing your experiences. Definitely, it's every girl, she is a princess to her father. Okay, now moving forward. Our fourth and last speech for the today's session is of Sobe Chakravarti. He is performing his second project on the organizer's speech, and the topic of the speech is "Do we care anymore?" And the speech evaluator is Pradeep Kumar. So let's hear from our friend.
I guess I could say good afternoon. It's already 12. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Shomu Chakraborty. I'll be performing my second speech. It is going to take around 7 minutes. Now, recently I read in the news that the UN Road Safety Collaboration was going to announce the third UN Global Road Safety Week from the 4th to the 10th May. It is going on as of now. Now, road safety is an issue we all hear and read about, but we hardly care about it unless, of course, we are one of its victims. For me also, it was not indifferent. I didn't have much to do at that time, so I thought it's an interesting article. Let's just read through it. Now, coming to bare numbers, in the year 2013, around 137,000 people were killed around the world in road safety related accidents. That is more than the number of people killed in all the wars and regional conflicts going on around the world at that time. With one road safety related accident reported in India every 4 minutes, India tops the chart. But that is not news for us, right? I mean, taking a cue from Ashish's speech, we know how Indians and we are driving on roads. But what really startled me was this comment coming from the Law Commission of India that as many as 50% of these people could have been saved if they would have received some sort of help on time. So that many number of people could have been saved if simply the bystanders would have reacted and tried to help and show some empathy. That is why I posed this question in the beginning: do we care anymore? In a recent speech, the US President Barack Obama was heard saying, and I'll quote, "The biggest deficit that we have in our society and in the world right now is an empathy deficit. We are in great need of people being able to stand in somebody else's shoes and see the world through their eyes. Usually these days when we see something wrong happening, we just turn a blind eye to it." I'm not trying to imply that all of us do it, but let's be honest to us, that is what majority of people do. I mean, I remember growing up, and whenever I used to go to school or anywhere, just whenever I used to step outside my home, my mom used to always say, if you see anything untoward happening on the road, don't get involved, stay safe, stay out of trouble. In fact, this whole phenomena was very scientifically explained by as a bystander effect by John Darley and Bill Dutton in 1968, after a famous incident in 1964 where a girl called Kitty Genovese was murdered in the US. And it was in the news at that time because after she was murdered, her body it was lying on the road and nobody came to help. So they coined this term and they explained it as a psychological phenomena where people have this tendency of not willing to help others if they see a lot of people around. So in layman's term, let's say you're a victim and you're lying there and you see a lot of people gathering around you, your actual chances of receiving any help are reducing. That is shocking, and it's a startling fact, but it's what they proved with facts and figures in the lab. And it is something that I kind of experienced myself too. I was traveling in the Kolkata metro. It was a weekend afternoon, so the train was full, but it was not overcrowded. At one of the stations, a passenger tried to get into the train very late. So what happened was the door closed, and only a part of his leg was protruding into the compartment, and he was stuck outside. For a few seconds, the door did not reopen as it was automatically supposed to. But for those few seconds, none of the people sitting there reacted. I'm not saying everybody saw that, but even those who saw that, they didn't react at all. For some reason, I reacted. I tried to open the door. I'm now not saying that I am Captain America or something who can open a hydraulically operated door, but something somewhere worked, and maybe some sensors started working. The door just parted for a few seconds, and that person could draw back his leg, and the door closed, and the train started running again. When I came back on my seat, a few of my co-passengers rather, they were saying, the door would have opened on its own. I mean, the train wouldn't have started like that. But incidents like that had happened in the past on the Kolkata metro. And in fact, if such an incident would have taken place on that instance, these very people would have gone down on the next platform, created a ruckus, and tried to protest. I mean, what is the point in reacting to something when you could have prevented that very thing from happening if you would have simply acted on time? We as human beings, we need to evolve our thought process, our consciousness, to really justify our claims to be humane living creatures. To be put in very practical terms, if we are not ready to exhibit that empathy or that feeling of trying to help others, if we are not ready to exhibit that towards the society, how do we expect the society to reciprocate? To put in the words of the genius Albert Einstein, a human being is a part of a whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. With those amazing words from this great genius, I would like to conclude my speech. I hope I was successfully able to convey my thoughts and feelings about this issue. It's something which struck a chord with me, and I believe it is something we should think about and deliberate upon as a society. Thanks for giving me this opportunity for coming here and giving the speech. Have a great day, stay safe, and keep others safe too. Thank you.
Thanks, Soumya, for sharing your thoughts, and definitely thanks for giving us one view of society, one aspect that I believe that most of us, we are just not aware of it, or we just don't care most of the time. Thanks for that. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, so now that's coming to our second session of the day. That I like. It's my favorite one also. So today's our theme host is Pradeep Kumar. Here comes Pradeep. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Param. Well, I would like a volunteers first, then I will go further. Any volunteers? I got 2. Other I will call myself.
No, that's not volunteer.
I said otherwise I will call myself, right? If you don't volunteer. Okay. Today is somewhat different actually. Instead of asking question, I will be showing you some pictures, and based on the picture, you have to, if possible, can give title to that and want some small story on that, like within 2 minutes. Okay. Yes, Cycle.
Yeah.
Please. So, picture is
It can be anything.
it can be anything.
Okay. You can ask him.
Okay, I'll give a title that billion years ago, the art billion years ago. Okay, that image looks like a globe, and that parts, that continental, it's look like little different than what we have today. I think it is that this globe is around billions years ago, and when that popular theory, it says that all the parts are together, but they are falling apart. So maybe it is that time. And I think that hand something is coming up. I don't know anything, and that's all.
Say something. I think language was motivated. Mother Earth is crying.
What?
Mother Earth is saying SOS, save us.
I don't know the means.
Good effort, good effort.
Cycle will kill me actually.
The experiments of this globe are saying that it is in an angry mode. Like,
You want to come? You want to say something?
You should continue after a minute.
I think Cycle purposefully did this because it's part of an oil and gas industry, right? If he gives a speech on saving Earth, probably all of us are not standing true.
Although it was a good effort. Thanks, Cycle. So, who is the next volunteer? Arihant, please.
That's what we got.
That's the first.
Seems to be a very nice picture. By the way, it's Aryan this side, giving my second extempore speech. Today it has been a very different kind of day. I mean, usually I think that extempore speech should be filled with humor basically. I mean, but the kind of speeches we've had today quite spiritual and intellectual. So I think the mood has changed somewhat. So I'll stick to the tone. It seems that dad has brought his son for fishing for the first time, and maybe it's a scene of the Malabar coast, and this child is really excited to learn fishing. He's catching his first fish, and the son is going to sit, but still he did not catch his first fish. So he's still his dad is telling him, you should have the perseverance, you should have the patience. You cannot learn fishing if you are not patient. And his dad is teaching him a lesson in life, a beautiful lesson which is going to help him throughout his life. And maybe after this catch, they cook a very nice fish curry and then they have it and relish it. Thank you.
Thanks, Aryan. That was a great effort. Next culprit. Yes, you. Hemant, please. Please come. Thanks. I'm putting everybody in difficult situation, right?
So, busy people, I can give the title to this picture. So here it looks like that all people are running to achieve their goals. So someone is behind, means everyone is trying to achieve their goals, and they are little bit different from each other, but still they are running fast to get and to achieve their dreams. Yeah, that's
Actually, this actually managing got, oh yeah, needed. You were driving.
Thank you, Hemant. It was a great effort actually. You're coming for the first time in this meeting, and it was a great effort. Thank you. Well, now I would like to have a volunteer, and who haven't actually spoken earlier. Anyone new who want to volunteer? Nobody. Nobody. Next will be very easy. Please, I would like a volunteer, please. All right, so I will call.
You want to get a volunteer, you show the picture. We'll definitely get actually maybe you can show the picture and we will
All right, I will do that. So I will give you only 30 seconds to volunteer. Timekeeper, please.
Come on.
Please. Anybody who is new, actually haven't spoken earlier, I would like to. Gopal, what's the time? Done. Vijay, please. Thank you. Coming here actually itself is. Thank you.
I think the title will be unity or teamwork. In this picture it is showing that several bulb, all bulb light will combine and we will get a bigger bulb with more light. So it's the sign of unity. If we unite and if we work as a team, then the goal will accomplish quickly and effectively.
Thank you, Doyen. My last one, I think. Still not having that much confidence to come to volunteer yourself. Please, you were busy with your phone actually, whole meeting. And please.
I would suggest a title is Your Attitude Drives You. So, as a picture shows, a positive attitude towards life always keep a person happy. A negative attitude always leads to sadness. If you are positive, no matter what the situations are, what difficulties you face, you will always achieve your goals in life. No matter the number of times you fall, but with a negative attitude, even the first hurdle can lead you to the disaster. And to grow in life, to stay happy, we must keep our attitude positive always and lead a happy life. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrish. With that, I conclude that sample session. Thanks for your participation.
Thanks, Pradeep. It was a quite nice session. It's very good enough that everyone has shared their ideas, even all the volunteers and the forced volunteers also. Okay, so let's moving forward. Now it's time for the evaluation. That's the most important part of every session, to give the feedback to whosoever has presented their thoughts and ideas. So now, first of all, I will call upon the stage for the speech evaluators. Our first evaluator will be Ashish Negi, who has been performing the speech evaluator role for Ashish Tandale's speech on traffic rules versus us. Ashish Negi.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Okay, Ashish Negi, the topic was traffic rules versus us. I think the topic itself was very good, and it set the tempo for the total session itself. Like all the sessions was, as you mentioned, it was all intellectual ones, giving us a highlight into what we generally do in our day-to-day lives. And as far as the speech content and the preparation was done, it was a very thorough preparation, as I could see from that. Another thing that was good from the speech that was presented by Ashish was there were a lot of picture content, and like picture speaks more volume. And there were at times when Ashish was referring to the audience to ask their questions. Okay, by seeing this, what exactly comes to your mind? So that way he's trying to connect to the audience, where audience himself is thinking in the same line what he wants to convey. So that was another thing. Other thing, important thing was the total content of the body. The body, that was really good. And the ending speech, when he concluded his speech, what should be doing, what should we individually should be doing while following the traffic rules. So all those contents was clearly and presented to the audience in a very clear way. So that was all from my side. Just one more point to mention here, like while speaking, the voice modulations, like when you're saying, the voice modulation was more or less a flat ones. If we are correcting to the audience as per the speech, if we have something that will be having more far-reaching effect. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish, for giving your feedback. Okay, let's moving forward to our second speech evaluator, Sandeep Diman. He is performing the role of speech evaluator for Sandeep Nagpal's speech. On the topic of the speech was the unknown universe. Sandeep. Yeah, that's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, the topic was unknown universe. So, you can say universe itself is very vast. So, this topic was, you can say, you could have talked anything about that. But still, Sandeep has covered very good things about universe. Okay, so I would start with topic itself was very good, or the, you can say it was second speech, and you have used very good gestures like hand movements, all emphasis on your points, and pitch and tone was very good. The start was itself, you can say, a nice start, but it could have been very, you can say, could have been very memorable start. The body was good, and the conclusion, yes, the conclusion was something, you can say, you could have talked about a very good conclusion, and it was not very concrete, but yes, eye contact with the audience was only 50%. You could have covered all the audience, and another thing you can improve in your speech is vocabulary part. So that's all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you, Sandeep, for giving your feedback on the Sandeep. Okay. Now, moving forward, our third speech evaluator is Sandeep Nagpal, who is performing for the speech evaluator role for Neetu Singh's speech. The topic of the speech was father-daughter bond.
Neetu gave the speech on topic father-daughter bond. Speech was really very good, and especially her introduction was very good. And I was able to feel all the emotions in her speech. Her voice modulation was very good. And, she gave very good introduction about herself. The speech was very well prepared, but there was few occasions when she was struggling for words, just like me. And she was very clear and audible. Opening was really good, but frankly speaking, while she was opening, I was thinking that she's going to talk about cooking skills, not about this topic. But later on, when she moved forward, then it was making sense. And overall, it was a very excellent speech, but at few occasions, while recalling her cooking skills, she was not able to control her laughter. Might have controlled that, right? Overall, really very good, excellent speech. Thank you.
Okay, our last speech evaluator will be Pradeep Kumar, performing the role of speech evaluator for Soumya Chakravarti's speech. Do we care anymore?
I don't care. I care a lot.
Thank you, Paramjit. I think it's one of the difficult tasks given to me. He was the winner of last speech. Well, Soumya, your topic for the today was, do we care anymore? It was a very interesting topic actually. What I like about his speech, that the preparation that he has done for that the figures that he has collected, was great effort actually for that, and he was able to capture the attention of audience, and giving the live examples was a good thing, and the transition was very good, and transition from one situation to other was very smooth, and his mouth, actually the speech modulation was so good. I like that. The only thing that I think you can improve upon is your conclusion actually. You can put anything, some phrase you can put on the conclusion. It would have been more effective and affect a lot. Overall, it was a good speech, and one of the contenders for the winners. Thank you.
Thanks, Pradeep, for sharing your giving your feedback. I think all the speeches are quite well enough. Everyone has given their all as per their best, and well, they will be feel proud for getting all the positive feedbacks and work hard for on the areas of improvements. And next time we are gonna have a tremendous. We will see the tremendous efforts coming from those guys. Okay, moving forward, let's call our snafu counter for the day. Snafu counter, yeah, with.
Hello everyone. Least number of snafus used by Ashish Tandil. He has used only.
Let's have a big hand of clap. Okay. Now I would like to call upon the our grammatist of the day, Ashish Negi.
Good afternoon again. Well, today I am into the role of a grammatist, and I really don't claim to be perfect on to that, but I will give my best effort to that, and I will try to give my feedback on each and every individuals that have presented their speech. And before I give my feedback, I would like to congratulate all the speakers, like for all the well prepared speeches. Like whatever the sessions we had till now, I think this session was the most and the best prepared speeches we had seen in our sessions. So I would like to start my feedback from with Ashish Tandil. Like during his speech, like he was mentioning at some point, like referring to some picture, like, what are they trying to do? I guess instead of try, it should be trying to do. So I guess just in the flow that was missed, it should be trying to do. And you are saying something about what we shouldn't be doing while driving. At one point you mentioned or eating and driving. It couldn't be or, it has to be and only. It's not an option key. We can remove this. Okay. One more point you were mentioning, like we are sacrificing our life. You have timeline also for this? Okay. We are sacrificing our life. We are not sacrificing. We are not sacrificing. We are putting our life at risk. Sacrifice means once done, we have no second chance. And the fourth one will be last. That the concluding part you are saying answer. My answer could be. It would be. It should be. My answer would be. Coming to the second speaker, Sandeep Nagpal, like at one point you were mentioning the universe surrounding us. The universe is not trying to surround us, it's like the universe around us. It is existing there, it is around us. So that is, as per my interpretation, it should be universe around us. And at point you mentioned there are thousands of variations. Again, thousands and variations. Either it has to be thousands of variations. And other point you mentioned is workable model. It has to be like working model. That's what I feel like. And again, yeah, those are the three ones that I could note from you. For Neetu, that was from the addressing point you were mentioning, like everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. It's not wrong. Everybody and everyone both is generally used, but everybody is more casual while talking. I feel like everyone should be used. And one point you mentioned, pay visit to a doctor. We are not paying, we are just visiting the doctor. And you're like when you are referring to your father, you are saying some meal of his. It should be like what I feel it should be his meal. So those are the points that I noted for you. Soumya, it's quite a tough task for me to find out the mistakes. Just a few, like at one of the stations. If it is one, it cannot be stations. It has to be one of the station. And at the point you mentioned acted on time. I guess it is acted in time. We have time. If we have acted in time. So those are the only two ones I found out for you. So that's all from my side, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, grammatist. Okay, now moving forward, let's call upon our general evaluator for the day, Sandeep Timan. He is also performing two roles. Actually, I feel two guys are doing the difficult part. One is Ashish Negi and the other is Sandeep Timan.
Hi again. So, the role of general evaluator is to evaluate the overall meeting, and even with MOC and speech evaluators and theme also. So let's start with overall general points of this meeting, how this meeting went. So meeting started on time. That was very good thing, and very good topics. Really, I like the topics very much, and participants very well prepared. Good job by grammatist. Then there are few areas where we can improve this meeting, so I would like to discuss that. So today there was some late entries for few of our guests, so I would really appreciate next time we all came by time. And other things are, there were lack of audience participants during, you can say, extempore sessions. And during that extempore session, just because of that, energy was missing. So it could have been very humorous session, right? That was, you can say, you can think on your feet and talk here. It could be humorous. So next, coming out for the MOC, the role of MOC, meeting roles very well explained, and transitions were very smooth during this meeting, like from one topic to another topic. And few areas where we can improve, like again the guests were not introduced, so you could have introduced our guests, right? And the rule about timings, right? So during the meeting, not everybody explained like I would be speaking for this much time. So we could already explain to members that anybody is coming to lectern, so first of all he has to specify the time, how much time. So this rule could have been explained earlier. And speech evaluator forms were missing, like we were having 4 speeches and 4 speech evaluators, so not everybody was having all the form with him. And I would say about the presentation also, we could have, you can say, organized the presentation well. Then again, coming out for the speech evaluators, so Ashish Negi, who has, you can say, done the role for speech evaluating the Ashish Tindale. The eye contact was very good while Ashish was speaking. Good eye contact. You were noticing the point and views. And while you evaluated here on lectern, it started with positive note. That was good thing. And you appreciated visual aids. Like it was the very first time that somebody has used visual aids, so that was very good part. And you talked about overall speech, like what was the start and body and conclusion part. And few areas where we can improve is, you have provided only one suggestion to Ashish. It could have been 2 or 3 suggestions for next time. And you never discuss the body language of the Ashish, like during speech, and his gestures and eye contacts. Coming out for Neetu Singh and speech evaluator Sandeep Nagpal, good eye contact, covered only introduction part, but you could have discussed or noticed the body of the speech, or you can say conclusion also. And you talked about voice modulation and started with positive notes. Didn't talk about eye contact, and suggestion is all, there was only one suggestion. Could have been provided 2 or 3 suggestions. Coming out for Samya and Pradeep, who evaluated Soumya. You were continuously listening during his speech and started with positive notes while evaluating. You notice his example, like he was using very good examples. It's a good thing. Again, there was only one suggestion, and you didn't discuss about his body language, posture, gestures, like the hand movements, all these things. And theme host, Pradeep Kumar, right? So few areas where we can improve, like the start was not very enthusiastic, right? And theme itself was not very effective. And we were calling volunteers prior to explaining the overall theme, right? And there was, you can say, extended pauses between the 2 transitions, like between the members. And you could have provided some options for switching, like if somebody is not feeling comfortable for, you can say, any image, and there should have been some options for switching the image or choosing the topic. Right? So overall, total number of volunteers and participants were not explained. So this is all about from evaluation side. Thanks.
Thanks, Sandeep. It was a detailed feedback for each and everyone. Thanks for such a great effort. I believe that everyone has been performing their role as and putting a lot of effort for their roles. Okay, now it's the last one for the timekeeper. Could you please, Gopal, just mention who are the eligible nominees for extemporary session and the best speech? Just please.
Prepared speech, Ashish Tande, Sandeep Nagpal, Neetu Singh, and Somen Chakravarti. All four.
Okay, big hand for all four.
And in extemporary, Saikat and Aryan. And very true.
Thank you, Gopal.
For speech evaluation.
Yeah.
Sorry. For speech evaluation, Sandeep Dhiman, Sandeep Nagpal, and Pradeep Kumar.
Have a big round of applause for all the nominees for the day. Okay, so what we are doing, we are trying to squeeze in the time of our meeting. So hence what we are doing, we will be circulating. Has everyone filled the sheet that has been circulated with them? Okay, so now we are circulating the Google form for all the eligible nominees, and you just need to fill that Google form, so that, and all the awards will be shared with the all the winners in the next meeting. So thank you all. Thanks to all for participating in our meeting for today. Have a big round of applause for today's session. It was a great session.
We will upload the award to the Google Drive. You can download it.
Sorry. Camera.